Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
Today's chants are Guru Stotram, Sanskrit term that in praise of. It is devotion that is the greatness of the Guru. The highlights are the importance of Guru in one's spiritual journey. Since Guru Stotram is not standalone composition by single poet, but rather selection of verses from the Guru Gita, its original authorship is traditionally attributed to Veda Vyasa, the sage who compiled the Puranas and the Mahabharata. The Guru is the one who reveals the ultimate truth, the infinite, all-pervading reality that encompasses everything, both moving and non-moving. I bow down to that revered Guru. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Parabrahmam, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajñātimirandhasya Jnānāñjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Gurave Namaha. Sthavarang jangam vyaptam yena krishnam characharam tadpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. चिद्रूपेण परिव्याप्तं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अनेकजन्म सम्प्राप्त कमेन्धन विदाहिने आत्मज्ञानाग्निदानेन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीनाथो मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरुः आत्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वातीतं सद् तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं सर्वशीभूतं भातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। भावात्मं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं नमामि। सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सद्गुरुं
I'm reading from the book First Meetings with Sri Ramakrishna by Swami Kripamayananda. Introduction. Crowds of people, with friends and strangers, flocked to the Shampukur house from early morning till night, and Sri Ramakrishna made himself available to them all. People came from all society, irrespective of creed and affluence or lack of it. They came with expectations, came led by curiosity, others with a desire to merit by his holy company, to learn what he had. Again others means of attaining. Some took him to be an ordinary man lacking in good manners. Others looked upon him as a cracked brain, while still others thought him a highly unusual human being. Even gifted persons like Girish Chandra, Sen, discovered in him a man with the widest and most Catholic spiritual outlook, a man who lived and moved with God, a saint whose thoughts and speech were profoundly original and arresting. They could not explain how Sri Ramakrishna could transmit spirituality with a touch, with a wish, which makes even the lowest and the most degraded characters saints in 1 second. Most of them, however, had no doubt that Sri Ramakrishna was a man of the highest integrity who, for the sake of realizing the truth, had renounced everything. Even though many could not understand him properly, they noticed that his life was consistent with his words, and that made them give this unlettered, unknown villager a position of authority in the field of religion. Full of fun as Sri Ramakrishna was, he allowed his visitors to speak out. The discussion on this occasion turned on the subject of himself. This is an incident. Girish, please bring the head of this. What else can regard taken me across this? What is out to Dr. One should separate him at these like a Ramakrishna exhibit of a child, the wisdom and the spontaneity. He himself, the understanding, was an avatar man. He revealed man solve his problems of life. He advised, hold on to me. Even though he had scaled the highest experience, he did not hesitate to come down and sympathize with the humblest endeavors of those around him. His love for others knew no bounds. His concern for them was amazing. Those who knew him intimately felt that his love was his very nature. He had directed this love to God for long years, and when he had attained complete oneness with him, God turned that love towards the whole creation, towards men and women who sought him, and towards those who sought him. In this mission of poured himself out with the same intensity and abandon with which he formerly sought to realize the divine. A master spiritual guide, he tracked down genuine aspirants with the tenacity of a bloodhound. He moved about the streets to bestow love on people. He lamented that his fragile body did not permit him to walk the streets as much as he liked to do. He tearfully prayed to the Divine Mother to bring to him soon those who were to be placed under his immediate charge. And he served everybody in a spiritual sense for many hours a day. Truly did Sharada Devi, the Holy Mother, say, he, Sri Ramakrishna, did not come to eat Rasgulla sweets alone. Thus, there gathered around Sri Ramakrishna men and women who, becoming surcharged with divine love, danced a ballet, as it were, like water particles atop waves in an ocean of love, with Sri Ramakrishna in their midst. To each and every one of them, he was the embodiment. He let the wind of joy and freedom blow all around him. They found in him too the meeting point of all contradictory forces. Above all, Although always a phenomenon extraordinary and mysterious, Sri Ramakrishna was to everyone a living and lovable fact of experience. Here is reading.
Now a short period of meditation. Good morning, friends. Wonderful song, very relevant and beautiful reading about Sri Ramakrishna, whom we're going to talk about. Sri Ramakrishna as his householder disciples knew him. Sri Ramakrishna, as told, is phenomenon. Phenomenon is a being, a reality, which is present, which can be perceived, but is very difficult to define as only this. Many faceted, such reality, not fully comprehensible. That is Sri Ramakrishna. He, many regarded, is an incarnation of God, came to this world and did his divine play with a purpose. Purpose is re-establishing the dharma. What dharma? Which dharma? Which religion? All religions. Sarva dharma sthapakastvam. Sarva dharma swarupaka. Human being had lost faith in God, whether God is reality, does God exist? That was the question in the minds of everyone before Sri Ramakrishna came. There were pandits, there were devotees, temples, worshippers going on, everything was there. But intellectual, asking, questioning, human being had lost faith and very much doubt that God exists somewhere altogether, that God does not exist. The universe is created by the nature, it's only natural phenomenon. Sri Ramakrishna came to remove this doubt from the minds of people. As Advent as a human at one place, and he chose this life, the God chose this life to remain unlettered and born in such a place, obscure village in India, and didn't have any sophistication of intellectuality, scholarship, nothing, no study of scriptures even. That being transformed completely out of sheer love of God and yearning to see God. And when he realized God, he turned out to be the wisest person in the world. From his mouth came all the truths of scriptures. Not only came the scriptures, they were so powerful that they touched the life of whoever listened to him. Whoever came to him, he was transformed. And many young boys of Calcutta, learned, educated boys, they renounce the world and become monks only to realize God in man, and spread the message of Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda, his family life was in Britain. Then he had the conflict whether he should renounce the world or he should serve his mother and his so he came to conclusion that I must renounce the world, because the purpose of God's advent as Sri Ramakrishna to re-establish dharma and send this wonderful new message for the modern age has to have someone who could spread that, broadcast that all over the world. And he felt that he was chosen for that. If he confined himself only to his family, small family of few siblings and mother, his purpose would be confined, contracted. So he decided to renounce the world and become a monk under the name of Sri Ramakrishna, took the name Swami Vivekananda. Like that were 16 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. All did wonderful, great works, great personalities. They all became powerful, spiritual dynamo energized and empowered by Sri Ramakrishna, and did wonderful work to promote dharma. Dharma is showing the light to the people, showing the people how should they live in the world. Life is blissful and all of life is met. At the time when we give up the body, we should be all satisfied. I have done the right thing. My life was useful and purposeful. If that thought doesn't come at the deathbed at the last time, that I have failed in my life. So to show the way how you can make your life useful, purposeful, these all direct disciples spread the message. And their disciples afterwards. There were not only monastic disciples who were core, there were householder disciples who came and did wonderful work in spreading the message of Sri Ramakrishna and taking Sri Ramakrishna to the house of other householder devotees. One of them was Mahendranath Gupta, M., who listened to the conversation, kept in memory, jotted some points, wrote in some shorthand style, went home, meditated long time till he got whole conversation, whole scenery of hours together in his mind flashing back by the divine power. And he wrote after that what he was seeing in the memory of his mind. And everything that happened, he recorded that, and it became the wonderful book called The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita in original Bengali. That was Mahendranath Gupta, chosen by Sri Ramakrishna himself. When he found some others writing something, scribbling his words, he said, "What are you doing? Listen to me. You don't need to write. There is someone else reserved for that." All was the divine play, divine planning. There was another, Girish Chandra, very intelligent, erudite, extraordinary intelligent person, whose writing, saying, thinking, creativity, drama was unique, very powerful. And he came in touch with Sri Ramakrishna, became enormously engrossed in the thought of God, wanted to renounce the world in love of God. Sri Ramakrishna said, "No, you continue your work as making the drama. Through that, the message will go." There was another still, Ramchandra Datta, a professor in the medical college, an atheist, a scientist, and he also came to Sri Ramakrishna. And all his doubt about God and atheism all blown away, and he became true devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, proclaiming among the first ones to say, Sri Ramakrishna is not ordinary human being. He is not simply my guru. He is God himself has come to be my guru. So that was Ramchandra Datta, after his thought, this professor, academician, he said. We will discuss 3 devotees today, householder devotees, how they knew or saw or perceived Sri Ramakrishna, who were Sri Ramakrishna's disciples. There are others, scores of other devotees who came in touch, enlightened their life by the holy touch of Sri Ramakrishna, and spread that message, as he said in the Bhagavatam, in the Guru Gita, that one who spreads thy name far and wide are the real givers of spirituality. Spreading the name and message of God, that is the work of real devotee, because that comes out of love for God and love for fellow human beings. Let us go to Ramchandra Datta. Ramchandra Datta came to Sri Ramakrishna with other 2 friends. One was Manomohan Mitra, another was Gopal Lal Mitra. Manomohan Mitra was a very great admirer, devotee of Sri Ramakrishna. Through him came Swami Brahmananda to Sri Ramakrishna, Rakhal Chandra Ghosh. Through Manomohan Mitra, he was related to Rakhal Chandra Ghosh. And Ramchandra Datta was an atheist, but something happened. When we turn towards God, there has to be something for many of us. For some, there is inborn hankering to realize God, that without God the world seems to be really incomplete, not fully satisfying, and then they turn towards God. But for many people who turns towards spirituality, something happens in our life by God's grace. Mostly something shocking, something painful, and then we turn towards God. Ramchandra Datta's daughter died. He was very sad. Because he was an atheist, he never cared for God, spirituality, temples, nothing was in his mind. He knew only studies, going and giving lectures in the university, teaching the students. Whole world is made by all the scientists that they say it is all evolution from the molecule that makes the creation, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, all those, the nitrogen. That makes this universe by combination and recombination. Where is the role of God? People think that way. So Ramchandra Datta's daughter died. Reflection, looking back, what is this? Where does the person go after he died? Why there is death? This shock came to Sri Ramakrishna on 13 November 1879. Came to Dakshineswar, door was closed, but after that, the 3 entered. It was about 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Let us hear from Ramchandra Datta's writing. During our first visit, we didn't ask any questions. As soon as he saw us, he began to speak. Sri Ramakrishna, without being asked, he began to speak. That was another speciality of Sri Ramakrishna. Generally, pariprasnena sevaya, says Sri Krishna. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. You say, Sri Krishna says in the Gita, one should approach Guru or saint and then ask questions and serve. By that, the disciple will get knowledge. Sri Ramakrishna was unique. He knew that this modern time people hesitate to ask questions even they have. They are first doubting, how is this person genuine? Always that doubt is then in their mind. So he left that their question, that if you don't ask, I will not speak anything. That was not in Sri Ramakrishna. Unique in many ways, so different from other teachers. So that is Sri Ramakrishna. Very modern, knows the modern people's psychology and wants to help everyone. And Sri Ramakrishna began to himself without being asked. Who wants God? Man weeps 1 jugful of tears for property, 2 jugful of tears for wealth and money, and 10 jugfuls of tears for wife, children, and relatives. But who sheds a teardrop for God? He only finds God who wants him, who sees darkness all around without him, who feels terrible discomfort without him. These words from the Master solved all our problems From that moment, he captured our hearts, that you should give to God your whole. Fully, you should give yourself surrendered to God, and then God will come. You should need God in such a way that nothing else matters to you. That they heard. And Sri Ramakrishna's message was just not the message. It all came from the heart and touched the heart. All messages, though it from mouth to ear, but in reality it is from heart to heart. Such messages were there. But he had a doubt that God exists. He asked his Ramchandra asked his family this guru, traditional, this hereditary teacher. They have hereditary teacher in Bengal. So teacher, someone's father's teacher, and now this teacher's son becomes son's teacher. Like that hereditary guru are there. The system is there. So when his daughter passed away, he asked his hereditary teacher, does God exist? Is God real? Can God be perceived? Can we feel the bliss of God? And now teacher is a householder. He just earns money by giving mantra, by doing some rituals. How does he know? He never went through these questions. So he doesn't know the answer. He says, your answers are quite difficult. Only Shiva can answer, give answer. Only God, Lord Shiva can reply to such answer, whether God exists or not, whether God can be seen or not. So this question was there. He was very much dejected, was not satisfied with this answer from his hereditary guru. And then he came to Sri Ramakrishna, and another day he came and asked really to Sri Ramakrishna. And his questions were, does God exist? How can one see God? The master replied now. Swami Vivekananda also had asked the same question. Many, all had. Girish Chandra had the same question. Everyone had similar question. And master said, God really exists. You do not see any stars during the day, but that doesn't mean that the stars do not exist. There is butter in milk, but can anyone know it by seeing the milk? In order to get butter, you must churn the milk in a cool place before sunrise. If you want to catch fish in a pond, you have to learn the art of fishing from those who know it. And then you must sit patiently with a fishing rod, throwing the line into the water. Gradually the fish will grab the bait. Then as soon as the float sinks, you can pull the fish to shore. Similarly, you cannot realize God by a mere wish. Have faith in the instruction of a holy man. Make your mind like a fishing rod, and your prana or life force like a hook. Your devotion and japam must be like the bait. Eventually, you will be blessed by the vision of God. Sadhana. You have to do spiritual practice. Without God will not come. Just question and then forget, God will not come. To bring God to you is like catching the fish. You have to do all effort, put your full mind in that, and when your mind is purified and you put at the feet of God, then God comes to you. Sri Ramakrishna later on at one place says, God, first the devotee runs after God. Show me, reveal me. And after his mind is fully purified, he has become true devotee, then God starts running after the devotee. God's love for devotee surpasses devotee's love for God. And God runs after the devotee, and Sri Ramakrishna gives the example, like a cow runs after her calf. Like that is God's love for us. Tremendous love. How much we can love God. God's love transcends in many ways. So that was the thing. He says to Ram, God really exists and you can see God. That's what Swami Vivekananda had also asked. Sir, have you seen God? So I said, yes, I see God. And he says, I can make you see him. That was the thing. Then he goes, how can I make him? Do the practice. Take this mantra, sit for meditation, repeat the mantra, do prayer every day, do sadhana, and God will come. God is real. God can be seen. And you will fill yourself with bliss when God comes to your life. Ramchandra Datta continues. Previously, we didn't believe in the existence of God. Furthermore, after associating with the Brahmo Samaj, we had come to believe that God is formless. The Master read our minds and said, yes, God can be seen. Can God, whose creation is so beautiful and enchanting, be imperceptible? We said, sir, whatever you say is true. Who can refute you? Is it possible to realize God in this life? The Master replied, you get what you desire. Faith alone is the key to success. Then he sang a song. As is man's meditation, so is his feeling of love. As is a man's feeling of love, so is his gain. And faith is the root of all. If in the nectar lake of Mother Kali's feet my mind remains immersed, of little use are worship, oblations, or sacrifice. So, love of God is the main thing. The Master continued, the more you advance in one direction, the more you leave behind the opposite direction. If you move 10 steps towards the east, you move 10 steps away from the west. Move towards God, and all your worries, anxieties, doubts will all become less and less in the same proportion. That was Sri Ramakrishna's message to Ramchandra Datta in his first few visits. So Ramchandra Datta was not inviting Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna used to love to go to the places, devotees' places. And he used to visit many places, and there used to be celebration, there would be dances, Sri Ramakrishna would dance, sing, then have the wonderful divine conversation. There was a lot of joy that day that we find in the life of this Golapma. Golapma, in Gospel it is written as a Brahmani. There Sri Ramakrishna goes, and Golapma was so happy. He said, never in my life had so much joy. I had so much of success, so much of great occasion to celebrate, but all were not so happy as today when Sri Ramakrishna has come. And she says, perhaps I will die of joy. I am so much overwhelmed with bliss because of your presence. Sri Ramakrishna had gone to Golapma. Like that was the feeling of devotees. Sri Ramakrishna knew that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also used to visit places and sing. Sri Ramakrishna prayed to Mother Kali, you didn't give me strength like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My body is weak. I cannot go to all the places as I would like to go. But still he used to visit places and used to be there. If you read the Gospel, during that time when there was no electricity, he used to be there like 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. he used to be at the devotee's place talking all the way, so and conversing, and so much of joy and celebration used to be there. This Ramchandra Datta came in the fold of Sri Ramakrishna. But he was not inviting Sri Ramakrishna. And because he thought it will spend, then if I invite Sri Ramakrishna, I will have to invite other people, then you have to prepare food, and all the expenses will be there. He was a not poor person, he was a professor in the university, earning a lot of money. Yet he didn't want to spend, something was there. He also says, I was always worried about spending money. So whatever he earned money, he used to give his to wife and done, nothing asking after that. But later on he started taking care of Sri Ramakrishna. He used to send food and other fruits to Sri Ramakrishna. But he would not invite. Now Sri Ramakrishna understood that. And one day he said to Sri Ramakrishna, when are you inviting me? Sri Ramakrishna saying himself. Then Sri Ramakrishna chose the date. This full moon night, June 2nd, Vaishakhi Purnima, full moon night on the month of April. So I will visit your house in the evening. Now what he can say, he is already a disciple. He said, okay, then he arranged the thing. Then he went there. And was a wonderful, joyful day that was. Then next evening, he comes to Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. The Ram writes about that. The next evening, June 3, 1883, I went to Dakshineshwar. The master gave me various spiritual instructions, and we talked until 10 o'clock at night. It was after taking leave of the master, I went to the outer veranda. Then I saw that he was following me, so I turned toward him. The master came near me and said, well, what do you want? What do you want? These words penetrated inside me like a lightning. I thought, what should I ask for? Should I ask for money? Immediately I felt ashamed of craving for money. Then I thought, should I ask for supernatural powers? My mind immediately reacted adversely, thinking of the dangerous results of those powers. Then, what should I ask for from the Master? Although I realized that Sri Ramakrishna was standing in front of me like a kalpataru, wish-fulfilling tree, ready to grant my boon I wanted, I was at a loss to know what to ask for. Finally, overwhelmed with emotion, I said, Lord, I don't know what to ask for. You decide for me. Sri Ramakrishna said, Give me back the mantram I gave you in that dream. Saying this, the Master went into deep samadhi. Immediately my heart overflowed with heavenly bliss. I wondered, is this really happening or is it a dream? Without losing any time, I prostrated before the Master and offered the mantram mentally at his feet like a flower. The Master touched my head with his right foot and also lost outer consciousness. Gradually, the Master came back to the normal plane of consciousness and took his foot away. Then he said to me, If you wish to see anything, look at me. I looked up and saw my chosen deity, the object of my meditation in him. Then he told me, You do not need to practice any more spiritual disciplines. Just come here and see me now and then, and bring with you a pice worth of something as a present. So that was the incident. Pice means it is the cent in Indian currency that time. Now it's called paisa. So bring that something when you visit some holy man or some temple or holy places, you should bring some gift, that Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Flower or fruit or some gift, or if you have not brought anything, give some donation, that you should do, he said. So something nominal as a token to visit a holy man, bring something. That was the incident. What had happened is once he had a dream, Ramchandra had a dream, that he took a bath in the dream, and then he saw Sri Ramakrishna standing before him. And Sri Ramakrishna gave him the mantra and said, repeat him 100 times. And after that, that mantra was there. Perhaps he must have repeated that and had grown quite evolved. 1879 he had made, now in 1883, already 4 or 5 years already done. So then he said, give the mantra back to me. And how to give the mantra when you have got? So he very beautifully says, Ramchandra Datta, I repeated the mantra and thought it was in the form of a flower and placed that flower at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. That was the mantra I gave back to him. That means no need of spiritual practice anymore, visiting him, serving the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. That was enough. And now finally, Ramchandra Datta concludes, from that moment, I began to live in the realm of peace. I got the taste of divine bliss. I recognized my Guru and realized that he and my chosen deity were one. I knew the Master to be my all in all. So beautiful that Ramchandra Datta always held this view, who Sri Ramakrishna was. He knew Sri Ramakrishna as his chosen ideal in this form. Mahendranath Gupta, the recorder he visited Sri Ramakrishna first time in February 1882. And he went to Dakshineshwar. He writes how he went. He went and saw. He was in a very terrible situation of his mind. Very disturbed, and he wanted to commit suicide by jumping into the Ganga. But let us see, this holy man is here, let's go there, visit. He describes, having a poetic mind, I was deeply impressed with the beautiful flower garden of Dakshineshwar. I picked some flowers and was overwhelmed by their fragrance. After some time, we entered Sri Ramakrishna's room. He had gone with one of his relatives. The Master was seated on a small cot, and the devotees were on the floor. I didn't know any of them. The first thing I heard from the Master's lips was, when hearing the name of God once, you shed tears and your hair stands on end, then you may know for certain that you do not have to perform any more karma. During my second visit to the Master, he asked me, well, do you believe in God with form or without form? I had a tendency to argue on religious matters. I answered, sir, I like to think of God as formless. And I further said, it is meaningless to worship a clay image. One should explain to those who worship a clay image that it is not God, and that while worshipping it, they should have God in view and not the clay image. At that time, there were so many lectures on this topic in Calcutta. But the Master immediately silenced me by saying, that's the one hobby of you Calcutta people, giving lectures and bringing others to the light. Nobody ever stops to consider how to get the light himself. Who are you to teach others? He continued, you will not have to rack your brain on this matter. Look at the world, how it moves in an orderly way. It is God who sends the sun to shed light, the rain to give water, and seasons to rotate. The earth produces the crops which help mankind to survive. God arranged everything for us. Look at the spiritual world. You can see temples and holy places all around this country. He created the scriptures and the holy people. These he arranged for people who want to lead a spiritual life. He thinks about everyone. We do not have to think of anyone. Listening to this, I was speechless. My inclination for argument stopped forever. I realized that the Lord is the doer and we are his instruments. My ego was crushed, says Yam. That's what they say. You say Ramakrishna mission, it is not Ramakrishna mission, Swami Bhaskaranji used to say. It is actually Ramakrishna machine. What machine is this? This is ego-crushing machine. You come here and your ego has to be crushed, then you become fit to serve the Ramakrishna mission. It is a Ramakrishna ego-crushing machine, is called Ramakrishna mission. Girish Ghosh met Sri Ramakrishna in 1884, 12 September. And he, first when he saw him, he was dejected, he didn't like him. Sri Ramakrishna, he had gone to one Dinu Bose house, and Sri Ramakrishna asked, is it daytime or evening? And already lanterns were on, lamps were on. That was definitely an evening time, it was already night and all that. He says, what type of man is this? He's pretending. He's not a holy man. That was his thought for the first time he met Sri Ramakrishna. He know that lights are on, it's dark time. But Sri Ramakrishna was speaking from ecstasy. He was unaware of whether it is day or night. He was merged in the thought of God. So how would Girish Ghosh understand that? But slowly afterwards, Sri Ramakrishna heard that there is a drama of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Leela. And life of Sri Chaitanya, one of the incarnation of God, who spread the name of Sri Krishna in Bengal in 15th century. And he went to see that drama, written, composed, directed by Girish Ghosh. And his EM had gone, and EM said, we have Sri Ramakrishna come and some devotees, so can you give ticket? So Girish Ghosh said, for Sri Ramakrishna it is free. Though he didn't like Sri Ramakrishna, but he had heard the name of Sri Ramakrishna. For him it is free, but for all others have to buy ticket, not free for everyone. And he put him in the best seat called box, or nice looking, and had a person to fan him like that. And like air-conditioned places nowadays, very comfortable, like that there was no electricity that time. There was an attendant who used to fan while the people was watching the drama. Otherwise Calcutta was very sultry and hot. So then Sri Ramakrishna went to the green room. after the drama and blessed everyone and said, I find that this drama, the acting and the real as one. I felt that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, Sri Chaitanya was moving here. And she blessed the actress who played the role of Chaitanya. It was a very famous actress of the time. Nati Binodini was her name. And people didn't like the actresses. They were not good character and all that. All people, holy people, didn't go to watch drama, and they shunned those actors and actresses because of their character, so set character. Sri Ramakrishna went to the green room, blessed them, touched her head, and said, may you be enlightened, spiritually enlightened. It was a great thing in that time. It was a great revolution, as it were, that holy man blessing the actors and actresses in drama. They never thought. Many people admired the acting, but never went close to the actors. But that time, Sri Ramakrishna spread so much love to the people who were not respected by the society. And after that, drama was established, and Sri Ramakrishna is considered as the deity of drama, guiding angel, protecting angel of the Bengal drama. Let me read from Girish Chandra. Girish Chandra was a highly intellectual person. His writing was excellent. He used to direct a screenplay, 3 screenplays at one time. One person writing one drama, another. So some dialogue, some scene here, and then come to another person at the same time, and write after this scene. After that, the third person, again the first person. Such was his intellect, and is to compose wonderful thing. He is considered one of the greatest person in the drama world of Calcutta. So his writings are wonderful. So I will read from his writing a little, then we'll conclude. Our relationships in the world are conditioned by Maya. Father's love or mother's love can also be said to fall within Maya. Usually love prompted by Maya desires only the worldly happiness of the son. It seeks only his worldly prosperity and nothing more. Very often it is seen that if the son, for the sake of spiritual enlightenment, pays no attention to worldly duties, he becomes a source of annoyance to his parents. In spite of his possessing good qualities, if the son prefers monastic life to marriage, he becomes an object of displeasure to his parents. They advise him that there is time for everything and that he should attain to spiritual life after finishing his life in the world and discharging his duties to the world in a proper manner. So, the Girish Chandra is saying about the desires of the worldly persons, that they want their son to be in the world, and if the son wants God, they will discourage the son. That is how the love of the world is. More connected to oneself than the real love for the person. What person will make happy more than that? If I stretch my imagination, I can have a glimpse of my parents' love. But the love of Sri Ramakrishna, that immaculately pure and absolutely unselfish love, how can I comprehend it? How shall I portray it in the words without attaining the state of consciousness that is free from the touch of selfishness, free from delusion of Maya? How shall I understand the actions of a person who has broken the bonds of Maya and is without faults? If I had attained that condition in which Sri Ramakrishna lived, the condition of being totally free from Maya, and if I had a disciple, I could then have gained the power of understanding Sri Ramakrishna's love in a small measure. But I don't know whether I would have been able to express it. I have grasped to some extent the love of Sri Ramakrishna by listening to the stories which other disciples have narrated to me, and by comparing notes which I myself have gathered, but it is not possible to describe the story of the pilgrimage of the soul which a fellow traveler has made and paint a picture of the longings and aspirations of his heart. So that was how E.M.'s writing is, very, very standard writing. One of the names of God is Savior of the Fallen. I and no one else can bear witness that he deserves that name. Some of those who have been with the Master may be fickle-minded, but in comparison with my fickle and restless nature, they are all saints. They may have a few weaknesses. Their feet may have slipped a few times, but in comparison with my Himalayan faults, those shortcomings are nothing. From my early boyhood, I was molded in a different way. I never learned to walk a straight path. I always preferred a crooked way. In spite of my faults, I was the object of his deepest affection. The manifestation of his love was revealed nowhere so clearly as in my case. The readers will get a glimpse of it from the story I shall tell below. So he tells the story of himself in a beautiful language that is wonderfully translated into English later on. So that is what Girish Ghosh is there. Girish Ghosh is said to be the embodiment of faith. And it's called mine of faith. So much of tremendous faith in Sri Ramakrishna he had. So his Vishwasa Akara, mine of faith was Girish Ghosh. Once Girish Ghosh asked Sri Ramakrishna, who is a guru? So he says, Guru is like a matchmaker who makes the boy and girl meet and makes the wedding arrangement. Guru is like that. But he is the matchmaker of soul and supreme soul, Atma and Paramatma. They come together by the matchmaking of the Guru, who unites the human soul to the supreme soul. And and Girish Ghosh's faith and trust and in Sri Ramakrishna's was one of the examples, and his transformation from his bohemian life to the life, saintly life. How much in one life could be so much transforming by the Sri Ramakrishna that Girish Ghosh himself, if other than God, could not have transformed me. The one who could make me change so much has to have the power of God, has to be God himself. There can be no other doubt about that. These are the few of the direct household disciples saying, and how did they say Sri Ramakrishna? Every disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, whether monastic or householder, had to say this, that their life was completely changed by the touch of Sri Ramakrishna. We now are the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, followers of the ideals of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda. Swami Sri Ramakrishna's touch is still with us, and our life also will change and transform by his touch, his words, and his grace. Thank you.